I guess I have to turn on my microphone. How about that? Can you guys hear me now? I have some people on the line. That's awesome. I think I was talking a little bit without being audible. Is that right? But can you guys hear me now? Leave me a message. Go in the chat and let me know if you're here and if you are able to hear me. Let me know if you can hear me real quick. Yes, Vanessa, thank you very much. Pete, yes, awesome. And where you guys located? We're gonna just launch into the condition, the presentation here in just a minute. Raymond, awesome, thank you guys. So welcome from Dallas. I'm Thomas Bartka. If you haven't seen me yet before, I don't know. I've invited specifically new users to Trackify who have just installed Trackify recently to this webinar. Raymond from Singapore, awesome. Singapore, I love Singapore. We had so much fun with our event there. It was just totally awesome. I love it. It's such a nice city, just such a nice area in general. Okay, so we're here today. Renee from San Francisco, David from Tennessee. Yes, and just so I get an idea of how long have you been using Trackify and Shopify. Let me know when did you install Trackify, and as we go along, if you could just start typing in some questions. If you have any specific questions at all, if you experience any kind of lack of clarity or challenges to make something work or finding something within Trackify, let me know those questions and just enter the questions. If it's a real question that you want me to answer, please go ahead and mark it as a question. So in the chat, you can see there's this drop down that is like a white bubble, and you can click on that when you type it in and turn it into a question or like a raised hand or whatever the symbol is that you see there. If you do that, it'll actually pop over to a different screen for me, to a different dialog where I can more easily see it so that I can recognize the questions that you want to have answered. Shopify 1 year, Trackify this week. Carla says it's awesome. Vanessa just started about a month ago, no sales yet. Wow, you need to change that. Okay, awesome. We're going to work on some of these things. So in this webinar, I wanted to focus on challenges with Trackify, primarily getting the installation right. I think we have pretty good guided instructions for that, but still, you know, so many times when you're in the trenches like we are, like I am, in running Trackify in my own stores and for our client stores, so many things are just so self-understood and so no question that somebody would understand it. But then sometimes when I put together an instruction video or an instruction article and I see that somebody understands it differently, and there are sometimes gaps where, you know, we have to learn how to do things and how to communicate better with our users. And that's one of the purposes of doing this webinar. Jason, that's awesome. 3 weeks Shopify, Trackify 2 weeks, and 200 sales. That is awesome. That is awesome. And are your ads all mostly running on Facebook, or do you get your sales and your traffic from somewhere else, Jason, as well? Okay, so again, as we go into the content here that I want to show you, let's make sure that any questions that you have get answered. And so go ahead and all Facebook, yes. So type your questions in, mark your questions up as questions so that we can address them as we go along. I'm running this webinar all by myself, so you know, I'm going to go back and forth between my two screens here, and I'll share the screen with you in just a moment. That I'm going to be looking at, and then I can at the same time kind of monitor your questions. But I'll go back and forth, so no sweat. There's nothing for sale here. This is purely a Trackify training call so that you can understand how to get the best out of Trackify and how to utilize Trackify, how to utilize the Facebook Pixel. So let me share my screen, and let me do this. All right. it looks to me like it's all pretty clear. Let me know if you can see it. Just type in a quick comment if you can see the screen. Is it pretty clear, or does it come through a little bit blurry for you? What do you see? Just let me know. If it is a little bit blurry, that used to be the case on the old platform for the webinar. It can catch up a little bit. It might take a little bit of time for the video streaming to catch up, but it looks like you're already clear on the image. That's awesome. Okay, great. Okay, so Trackify was started. I started Trackify. I started programming Trackify within the first month of me going to my own Shopify store for the very first time. That was in April of 2015. 2015, I started on Shopify. My own personal background is that I was selling on Teespring, and I had some mixed results, some really good successes, and some mixed results, mixed bags on there. And at some point, I decided, okay, I want to build my own buyers list. I want to sell my own stuff. I want to have more diversity. I want to have control of what else I can sell, and so forth. So I went to Shopify, and I started in all kinds of different niches. I started on drop shipping. I started on free plus shipping offers, and all kinds of things. And before long, I noticed that it requires a little bit of sophistication to fire your Facebook pixels. Back then, Facebook didn't have the only Facebook pixel yet, but it had a custom audience pixel and a pixel that was used to track conversions. They were used to be called conversion pixels, and you basically had to create a separate pixel for each page that you wanted to fire them on. So you had to manage that all in the multitude of pages that are in Shopify, and that was the challenge. So I developed the Trackify program app for that purpose in the first place, to organize a multitude of conversion pixels so that they can all fire only where they're supposed to be fired. Now, this is all completely gone. Facebook just completely did away with the conversion pixels in February of this year. And for a long time now, for at least about a year, we have continued to develop Trackify so that it utilizes the features that are available in the new Facebook pixel. And so it's no longer using the conversion pixels now because they're no longer valid or usable in Facebook, but it is now in enhancing the features that are in the Facebook pixel itself. Okay, so in this webinar, I want to do two main things. This is already covered now. I already just told you a little bit about the history of Trackify, and that's about as much as you need to know, really. So Trackify was developed as an app for Shopify sellers by Shopify sellers, if you will. Okay, so I wanted to build the expertise that I gather, or that I had gathered and I continue to gather about Facebook ads and about Facebook assets and building audiences in Facebook and leveraging the full feature palette of the Facebook pixel. So that expertise, I wanted to build this into an app, primarily to use that for myself on my own Shopify store. But then I also noticed that it was an interesting app to offer to other people. And since then, Trackify has obviously developed into this app that now has hundreds and hundreds of users. And it's been an awesome tool to connect with Shopify users, with e-commerce sellers, with other fellow entrepreneurs, and to develop our own training programs. And we're now conducting events that tap into the leverage of Facebook Pixel to make that more known among e-commerce entrepreneurs like yourself who run their own Shopify stores. Okay, so for the rest of the content presentation, I want to go through two main points. One is the 3 key installation points about Trackify. I want to cover that and make sure that we understand that. Everybody understands that. And number 2 is the Facebook assets structure. The asset structure in Facebook, I think, is an important key to understanding why you would want to use Facebook pixels in the first place in your Shopify store, why you would want to use them in a sophisticated way that Trackify allows you, where you can build out this Facebook asset structure and build your own corporate company assets for your own company on Facebook. And that is really the full power of the Facebook pixel, where you can leverage not just for tracking, but for building audiences and for scaling your campaigns and for getting, huge results on your campaigns, because you use that optimization power that Facebook has built into the way that you can create audiences and lookalike audiences. And we talk about this in more detail. So that's what I want to cover there. Okay, so let's maybe first get a little bit into the installation points. So we're going to be looking at this sample Shopify store. It's you can access it directly. I think it's open to the public. You can't really do any transactions there, at least not expecting that you get anything shipped. But it's a sample demo store for our app that you may have seen that already in the videos. And you can see this is this pretty simple product page, and I have put Facebook Pixel Helper here into a separate window. This is actually a nifty little trick that I can show you. So let's start at the very beginning. In order to really see what's going on in your store with Facebook Pixels, you should install a Chrome extension called Facebook Pixel Helper into your Google Chrome browser. So yes, it is live, D-A-A-B. It is live. I'm live. I'm over here. You see me, right? No, you can't see me, but you see my screen. It's live. So ask your questions. I'll answer them live, as much as I can. Okay, so you should use Google Chrome as a browser, because that's the only browser that can make this Facebook Pixel activity visible in the browser window. And you should then use the Facebook Pixel Helper Google Chrome extension to make sure that you get to take advantage of that. And then once you've installed that, so you just go to the Google Chrome extension store. It's a free extension. You type in Facebook Pixel Helper, you find the extension, you install it in Google Chrome, and then it shows up here. Sometimes it shows up right up here, but then here it's kind of like in this extended pop-up. So it looks like this. When there are pixel fired, it's blue. And here you can see the count of the pixel events that are being logged. And if there aren't any pixels on there, it just stays kind of gray. I might be able to show you that a little bit later as well. Okay, so then when you go in here, so normally you click on this and then it pops open like here. Let me show you how this works, because you might not be familiar with being able to kind of undock it. It usually looks like this. You pop it open and it just kind of shows you what's in there. But this icon here allows you to separate that from there. And that way, that's actually really cool. You can put it kind of next to the window that you're browsing. And you can see what the changes are that happen in your Facebook pixels as you move around and as you do things in your store. So for example, when you go back to the home page, you can see it takes a little moment to load the page, and then you could just see here is a standard page view event. The page view event is an event that fires on every single page. It should fire on every single page in your store, except actually on the checkout pages. I'll show you that in a minute as well. And then as you walk around, so for example, if you go to, let's see if we have any collections here at all. If we go to a collection, that looks like a collection. Let's see if there's pixel fired. Yeah, it's also just a page view pixel here as well, page view event. So it looks like there aren't really any collections in this store. No, it only just goes directly to the product page. So on the product pages, you can see that is where the view content event fires. And this is kind of a typical way, typical data set that is fired in the view content event. You see this, and there are different lines of data here. Some of them are pretty interesting, some of them are less interesting. The content name, if a variable shows a longer set of data, you can click this show thing here, and then you can explore it like this and see the whole thing there. So every time you click on something else, every time you go to another product page, it will open up the product page. Depends on how much stuff is there to load, and then it will fire the pixel events. And on every product page, you should see a view content event, and it shows like this. It has the product ID in here of the product that's there, and some additional information, and that is the additional information is the special custom data, the custom event data that we're firing with Trackify into the pixels, and it allows you later on to build more custom audiences and more lookalike audiences based on those. So the good news is, whenever you should not understand something here, where you go, wow, this is a lot of detail, this is a lot of stuff, should I actually, do I need to know this? The good news is Trackify turns you into an advanced marketer, even if you don't know anything about this, even if you don't understand the first thing about any of this, even if you've never looked at this or know anything about it. Trackify already prepares this data for you, and it fires it into your Facebook pixel events. And that is what makes this data happen for you in Facebook. So the data has to be collected in Facebook with the help of your Facebook pixels on your Facebook pixel in the first place. Otherwise, you can't use it. So therefore, if you gather the data, that is the first part that has to be done and established, right? If you don't collect it, you can't use it. So therefore, the first thing is data is being collected, data, special event data is generated by Trackify that would not be generated without Trackify, and it would not be available to you to use later on once you learn about how you can use it if Trackify doesn't already collect the data for you. So let's go into making sure that this data is showing up here and how this installation step works. So here you are. This is kind of 2 steps in the actual installation of the app. It's like the very normal process. You go into the Shopify App Store, you go get this app now. It goes into your Shopify store. It asks you to authorize access to your Shopify store. Then the app is requesting an approval of the charge. The charge is then there's a free trial, and then you approve the charge after the free trial. Then you get to another page, and on that other page, I actually pop up there on this little widget there, and I tell you that the next thing is that you're going to log into Facebook, because we want you to be able to use Trackify to manage some aspects of your Facebook account from within Trackify, and that's what the login to Facebook does, okay? So it doesn't give Trackify any kind of authorization to do stuff in your Facebook account when you're not there, when you're not watching, when you're not, actually doing it, but rather the Facebook login authorization only enables you personally to manage your Facebook account while you're logged into Trackify. Okay, so that's an important distinction there, an important limit that I think is important to mention. So then you go you log into Facebook, into your Facebook profile, and then you come to this screen. So this is the first screen that you come to. It's the main settings screen, and this is where you need to enter your things. All right, so now the fields that are here are quite simple. There are 4 fields that you have to set. One is your Facebook Business Manager, and I'm going to go into more details about that in just a minute. The second one is choosing your Facebook account pixel. And then the third one is the cart mode setting, and we're going to talk about that as well. That's one of the other important points that I want to go through. And then the fourth field here is for assigning a default Google product category. Okay, so what do all these mean? Okay, first of all, the pixel IDs. Let's start with the simple things, right? So when you click on this down arrow here, you get this pop-up. I want to actually pop it right now because there are tons of pixels that I have access to, and a lot of them actually mean something to people that are in part their clients. So I don't want to make this a public visible thing here. But if you go in here yourself and you click this open, it pulls down the list of all the pixels that you have access to in Facebook. And you can do that, but you can also go in here and actually manually plug in and paste in a pixel ID into this field. That does the same thing. You can do it either way. It doesn't matter. You can plug a pixel ID in here manually, or you can pop this open, this drop down open, and you can select your pixel ID by the name of the pixel that is in Facebook. Okay, so that's the most important thing, obviously, the selecting the pixel, because that is what comes over here, back in the store. This pixel ID here is exactly what is firing in Facebook Pixel Helper on your store. It's the same pixel ID as what you have over here. Facebook Pixel Helper changes every time you change to a different tab, right? So in here, I'm on Trackify, so now I'm firing there's a different pixel here that has nothing to do with your pixel. But on the storefront, in your Shopify storefront, right here, when you go to a Shopify product page in your Shopify store, that's when you will see the pixel ID that you enter into this field right here. Okay. Just as a side note, when you're on the admin side of your Shopify store, you see this is now the admin side of this same store here. This is the front end where the users come to buy their products. This here is the admin. On the admin side, you usually have still different Facebook pixels. There's usually something else still going on here. It's not in this case because this is a special case, but if you do this in your store, and if you look at Facebook Pixel Helper when you're in your Shopify store on the back end like this, you will actually see some pixels in here, and they will also be completely different from the pixels that you have entered here in Trackify. Okay, so, and here's an example for how the Facebook Pixel Helper icon is actually grayed out because there's nothing going on this particular page, right? Okay, so this is selecting your Facebook pixel, and that is the most important part. While we're at this, let's make sure that we mention that Trackify replaces the pixel fires for your main pixel that you enter in here, replaces any other pixel code. So with entering your pixel into Trackify, you're giving Trackify that pixel ID to manage your pixel events on that pixel. Okay, so you don't want to have that pixel managed or pixel events fired by any other program or app or anything like that. Okay, so there is a list, a checklist that we have that you can go through, but one of the most important places that many people have their pixel ID is this basic Shopify integration place that's right here. So you go, did you see how I get to this? So I'm on the admin Shopify. I go to online store. I click on preferences, and I scroll down here where it says Facebook Pixel. So if you have your Facebook Pixel already installed in this basic Facebook Pixel integration in Shopify, then it will actually show up like this. And it'll be in here. So if you have that already in here and you want to fire your pixels with Trackify, then you want to go in here and remove it from here so that you don't get duplicated Facebook pixel events. All right, so that's very important. Remove it from here. Some people also have it in all kinds of other places. It can be hard-coded in the theme. It can be fired by Google Tag Manager. It also comes sometimes where it's fired by other apps. But in all of these cases, you want to remove it from everywhere else because now that you have Trackify, you want to have Trackify be the program that fires and manages all of your Facebook Pixel events. Okay, so now that we have our pixel in here, let's explore the setting here that has to do with the business manager. And in order to explain that a little bit better, I'll pop this open for you. You can see, so if you have access to multiple business managers, then they show up here. It might be that you don't have any business manager. In that case, this box will be blank, and you don't have to have that selected, but we recommend it, and Facebook recommends it, and for several reasons, and we'll go over these reasons in just a minute. Okay, so let me so in order to actually start explaining this, let me go over here to the Facebook asset structure part of this presentation. And let me zoom into this a little bit so you can see better, and we can work ourselves kind of through this hierarchy of Facebook assets so that you understand a little bit better where everything is and why everything is the way it is. All right. So if you're a normal Facebook user, you have maybe only a personal profile. Okay, that's what you use to log into your Facebook account with, and that's normally what you see in Facebook when you go into Facebook. Your your personal profile in Facebook already has built in or attached to it one Facebook ad account. That's right here. So the ad account is by default your only ad account that is attached to your personal profile is usually already there. You usually, if you've never accessed the ad account in your personal profile, then when you click that link for the first time, there are a couple of setup steps, and then you're ready to go and run your first ads straight out of the ad account that is in your personal profile. Now, in your ad account, you have now one single Facebook pixel. By default, that Facebook pixel doesn't exist. So it has to be created when you first start using your ad account. You have to create your Facebook pixel. Okay, and it's a fairly simple, few steps thing. Facebook walks you through it, and it's basically just you click a button, and bam, there it is. The pixel is created. And after that, it actually gets a little bit more complicated in Facebook, because then they have you go through all kinds of hoops to get the Facebook pixel code into your Shopify page. And that's where you can forget about Facebook and just bring the Facebook ID, the Facebook pixel ID, over to Trackify, paste it into Trackify, click Save in Trackify, and everything will be already done and set up for you automatically throughout the entire Shopify store using Trackify. All right. So that is the Facebook pixel. So it can be that your Facebook account, your ad account, doesn't have a Facebook pixel created yet. Okay, that can happen. And if that's the case, you need to go into your Facebook account and create the pixel before you can use it in Trackify or anywhere else. Okay, now the other part of this, let's set aside the audiences for a moment. We'll talk about audiences a bit later, but this is a structural component that's important later on. But now let's first talk a little bit about business managers. So business managers are a free tool. It's a free tool that you have available in Facebook. You can easily just sign up for it. You go to business.facebook.com. And there you can just, if you don't have any business managers yet, then you can just simply go here and it'll give you a way to sign up for one. As it is right now, let's just go to this one and keep it simple. That's the one that I have selected in the Trackify setting. You can do that. So here you have all kinds of things going on inside that business manager. So this is what a business manager looks like on the inside. There are different things that live in your Facebook business manager, and this is part of what we want to talk about right now. All right, this structure inside the business managers is what it's all about. So Facebook recommends that you run your Facebook ads inside a Facebook business manager. There's a process that's very simple where you can just sign up for a free business manager. And then the first thing you want to do is you want to claim your personal ad account and move it into your business manager. You create a business manager, you sign up for business manager. At that point, you have a business manager. And then you want to claim your personal ad account into your business manager. From then on, you can manage your personal ad account through your business manager. And that is what you should do, as what Facebook recommends, and that is one huge step that helps you avoid getting your accounts banned and all kinds of bad things. So if you haven't done this step yet, you should do this as soon as you can, because that's what you want to do. Now, when you're once you have a business manager, you can actually create additional ad accounts. And I want to mention that and keep going through this part of the presentation briefly, just so you understand, and a little bit more advanced users that are maybe new to Trackify, but not so new to Facebook, might want to know about this, and we can just mention this here as well. So you can create additional ad accounts. These ad accounts will be owned by the business managers. There are all kinds of ramifications on this because, for example, an ad account that has been created inside a business manager cannot be transferred into another business manager. You can get access to this ad account, or you can give access to the additional ad accounts that you create in your business manager to other business managers. That's possible, but you can't transfer ownership of an ad account to another business manager. This is an important consideration for the way to, hang on just a second, I'm just catching a question here from Asmir. Is there a way to watch the presentation in full screen mode? There should be one. I'm surprised that the question should come up. Normally it comes up in full screen mode. I don't see my own presentation in as a participant right now, and I don't want to really interrupt this, but there should definitely be a way. Do you want me to just kind of go into this for a second and see if I can help you out with that, if I can answer that question? Okay, let's interrupt this for just 1 second. Let me just see if I can find a quick solution to that. And I think I have an emergency link here. I can just plug into this thing. It could be that the webinar is going to slow down a bit as I do this. Okay, so this is pretty full screen here. So this is now showing how I'm watching my own presentation. I'm probably going to get into some connection issues right now, but that's pretty full screen. I don't know. Is it smaller for you guys? That's pretty full screen for me. So now this is going to be audio. If you don't see it here, let's see what happens when I click on this YouTube link. So that's full screen. Okay, so okay. That's confusing. Did you get this? Did you catch what I did? So inside the webinar presentation that you're watching, when you hover over the right bottom corner, you should see a YouTube logo. Then you can click on the YouTube logo, and that brings you over to YouTube Live, and you can watch it here. You still have the live chat here, where you can participate in a live chat. I believe you can. I'm sorry, this platform is still a little bit new for me, so forgive me if I'm not up to speed on exactly how the things work. But then down here, so if this is still not big enough for you, down here you can put this video to full screen, and that now puts you the entire presentation into full screen mode. So that should really solve it, either one of these steps. So let me make sure that I close these screens, and now I should be back to. Okay, I think that should solve it. Did that help out at all? 4K display issue? I don't know, is it? Okay, so did you follow these steps? Does this help any, Asmir and Luis and Zoya? Well, let me know. So I'm going to get back into the groove here with. Yes, it does. Thank you. Okay, great. All right, that worked. Okay, so let's catch up here. So we were discussing creating additional ad accounts in business managers. So one of the ramifications of the fact that you can't transfer an ad account out of a business manager to make another business manager the owner of that ad account is if you're planning on building a business that you can later resell. And that's a very awesome, valid plan of action. You know, you set up a Shopify store, and you bring it up to speed. You run it for 18 to 24 months, and now you can show that you have cash flow from it. It's a totally sellable asset. There's investors left and right waiting to take this off your hands and paying you big bucks for it. So it's an awesome business model to build Shopify businesses for resale. But if you do that, you should create a separate business manager for that and create a new ad account inside that business manager and just put everything that is related to this business that you're planning on building for resale, build it all inside that brand new business manager. So then you can transfer ownership to the business manager with all of the assets that are related to the business in it and nothing else that is muddling it down or or interfering with that, or doing things that you don't intend to sell with the business as an asset. So it can really save a lot of headaches, a lot of trouble that you may have transferring these assets later on, to just keep things separate, and don't even claim your own personal ad account into this business manager if you want to plan this for later resale. Okay, so you can also, for that purpose, you can create new business managers in Facebook as well, right? So you should always have your own primary business manager where you just claim your personal account into that and do anything else you might want to do there. And then if you want to build a Shopify store for resale, in Facebook, you start by creating a new business manager for it, and then making a new ad account inside that business manager, and work your way from that. Okay, so the ad account here inside the business manager, if you create an additional ad account here, it also has one single Facebook pixel, just like your personal ad account. And any additional ad accounts each will have one additional Facebook pixel that you can create. It's not created by default. It has to be created just by clicking on the button. That button is found right over here. So when you're in your ads manager in the Facebook Business Manager for the account that you want to work on, let's just see. Work on an account that is a reasonable account. So when you're in here, you go to the pixels. Here are all the tools that are inside business managers, and the pixels is the tool where you would set up your new Facebook pixel. Okay, so here it has already been created. Once it's been created, it looks like this. If it hasn't been created yet, there's a page that says you can start your ads and use your Facebook pixel. Just create the pixel right now. Create it right here. Click here to create it, and then you click yes, create my pixel. And the next page will say, oh, right, your Facebook pixel has been created. Now go through all the complicated steps to set it up. At that point, a board, come back and grab your pixel ID. Your pixel ID will then show up right here, and you can grab your pixel ID, but also in the Trackify settings page, you will be able to pull down your Facebook pixel ID right here in this drop-down box right here when you pop this open. All right, so now we have covered the business manager and the Facebook pixels. One additional thing, the main reason, there's not really a good reason why the business manager has to be selected here. The only reason for that is that there is another asset that lives in business managers, and that is Facebook catalogs. Now, you may never have heard of Facebook catalogs before, and it is an advanced feature in Facebook. It's not a required feature, so don't worry. You don't have to learn how to use that and learn how to set this up right this second. Just know that it's there. And actually, here's the back door to that. So catalogs live in business managers. Catalogs are what you think they are. They are just a catalog of products that you're selling in your Shopify store. When you set up a catalog in Facebook, you can run dynamic product ads. They're called DPAs for short, dynamic product ads, for all of the products that are in your store, that are in your catalog, all together, for all of the visitors that have visited your store before, and for all kinds of fancy enhanced features that are accessible in that, and that we teach you about later on. We have training videos about that. We're also going to put this into additional webinars, training webinars like this, to walk you through these things as they become interesting for you to use. So catalogs live in business managers, not in ad accounts. Okay, so catalogs, you can't have a catalog on Facebook if you don't have the business managers. If you just here on this, where you have your personal profile and your ad account, there's no place to put the catalog, because catalogs live inside of business managers. So in order to create a catalog, you have to have a business manager, and that's one other reason why we recommend to follow Facebook's recommendation to create a business manager, sign up for Business Manager. It's so easy. Then just select your Business Manager up here. And that way, we can instantly, immediately, in your first save, in your first setup save in Trackify, create a Facebook catalog in your Business Manager and prepare everything so that your assets will be already built for you and ready to go once you've learned enough about Facebook ads that you're going to want to run your own dynamic product ads for retargeting. These are one of the most highest ROI ads that you can run in retargeting. It's totally like retargeting, exactly right, Louis. It's totally like retargeting. It's retargeting for the entire catalog of products that you have listed in your Shopify store, and they can all be run in one single ad, in one single campaign, and they're automatically retargeting everybody with specifically the products that they've visited or that they've added to the cart. And there's complicated rules that you can build to retarget the people, and that's exactly what it is. So essentially, you may have heard of other apps that take care of retargeting for you, like retarget apps, like Shoelace, like AdRoll. Essentially, they're doing something very similar. They're retargeting people who have already visited products in your store with ads for the same products that these people have already visited, for the same products, or sometimes also for related products out of your Shopify store. And these retargeting ads are usually super effective. They're super low cost CPA, they're super high ROI, and that's why you're using Retarget app or Shoelace to get these. But Trackify, with the catalog feed, builds this feature into your own Business Manager so that it's accessible for you to run it yourself without the extra expense to another app like Retarget app, like Shoelace, like AdRoll. All these apps have much higher costs attached to them for running the campaigns through them than Trackify charges, even in platinum mode. So if you're looking at retargeting apps and you're currently running your retargeting ads through any of these other apps where you pay a fee for running them, that's a no-brainer right there to just install Trackify, use the features that Trackify gives you, run your own DPA ads in your own ad account. Of course, you have to pay for the ads, but you don't have to pay an additional service for an additional app to run the ads for you. Jason, DPAs are set up in Trackify. You create them directly in your Facebook ad account, and we have that covered in the training videos. When you come over here to the training video tab in your Trackify ad, down here, dynamic product ads, video 9 shows you exactly how to set this up. And so coming back to this initial install step, we're going to go into this in just a little bit some more. So now that you understand that the catalog lives in the Business Manager and the catalog is an important part of the setup, now you understand that it's a good idea to have Trackify put the Business Manager in here and also create the catalog for you right away on the first step, upon the first install. And that's where we come to this fourth field that you have to set up. It says assign the default Google product category. So the Google product category is a field that is built into the product catalogs, and this field is something that cannot usually be easily extracted from your Shopify products, and therefore we just ask you to identify what general category of product types most of your products in your store falls under. So this is a simplified setup, and you can later go through refining the catalog setup into being more structured and more refined, a better match for the variety of products that you might be selling in your store. But just for simplifications purposes, let's say you're selling t-shirts in your store. You just type in shirts over here, and you get a couple of choices of what you might want to check here. And each of these are standardized Google product categories. That's what they're called. That's why they're called that. That's why the field is called that. And so you just go ahead and match click the best match, and that will be your default Google product category that will be used for any products that can't be set to something better, or that hasn't been configured for something more refined or whatever. So this is just kind of so we can do a quick and dirty version of your catalog, build this, upload it into your business manager, have it all ready to go for you, and you're ready to run DPA ads. It builds the assets into Business Manager and into Facebook and into your pixel events. You see the things are all interconnected. So far, we have only talked about the different assets and where they're placed, right? So you understand the personal profile now. You see that you have your personal ad accounts. You see that you have a business manager, that you can move your own personal ad account into the business manager like this. Then you can create additional ad accounts for later on. And you can build catalogs that live inside your business managers. Now, there are a lot of structures here that are more convoluted and that are more complicated. Okay, and we're going to go through these maybe in another webinar. For the initial setup, this is perfectly fine if we just stop this at this point and come over here and go to the third big thing that I wanted to show you about the setup. So this here covers everything. With these fields that you've selected, you've covered your business manager selection, so we can put your product catalog in there. Your product catalog is using a specific default category that's the best match, and you select that here with this field, and you've selected your Facebook pixel and have that covered as well. So now there are two small things that are left. One is the cart mode, and the other one is our special tracking tags. We have a whole separate menu item for that. So let's go into the cart mode settings first, and let's check out how this plays out here in this particular store. And let's actually go to a different product here real quick. So you can see there's a view content event. We've looked at this in the beginning. It has all this stuff here fired. The pixel is there. It's fired. It's green. By the way, it's green because we've set up a product catalog. There is a situation where this can show yellow, and there's actually a lot of distraction about that, or a lot of questions come up in our customer service or through our widget all the time that come from this warning. There's a warning that will show. I'm just pulling up a quick message here. Permission error. Okay, no, not prepared with product error. So this here is the error message that you see right here. This thing, you see how this now shows a yellow warning triangle, doesn't show the green check mark, and this error message refers to the fact that a product catalog needs to be set up in order for this product to be matched to a product catalog. Okay, so the product catalog is not required for any of the other features. The only reason why you need the catalog is to run your own digital dynamic product ads. If you're not ready for that, or if you're not worried about that yet, you actually don't need the catalog. But if you don't have a catalog, or if Facebook hasn't finished building your catalog yet, you will see a yellow warning here, just like this. You will see that in place of this green check mark on the view content event in your Facebook pixel app when you check it like this. Okay, so usually, the usual instruction is don't worry about it, because it will most likely be fixed once Facebook has finished uploading the catalog that we've created on the initial setup. But there are also a couple of other reasons why it can show yellow. And if it's important to you because you want to use your own DPA ads pretty soon, then just go through this checklist here, and it walks you through all the different things that you might be able to do to fix this up. It's usually not complicated. There's just a set of different reasons why this might be happening, and the fixes for it. Okay, yeah, so general stores using as a category, Vanessa, it's a good question. The category that you select here in the primary settings right here, just use something that is general. I mean, you can even dial this down to apparel, right? If you type in apparel, you can just use the basics the basic category like this, apparel and accessories. The bottom line is the Google category is actually not very important. It's just if you don't have one in the Facebook feed and in the Facebook catalog, then Facebook inundates you with warnings on the Facebook end of the catalog. When you look into the catalog, there's a bunch of warnings there that are showing if you don't have any Google product category assigned in the catalog at all. But if you have one that is used for each product, then these warnings all go away. So it really isn't all that important in the simplified setup which category you choose, but you can always choose a category that is very broad and just very simple. So type in something, furniture, home garden, kitchen, dining. Awesome category, right? Depends on what kind of general store you have. There are tons of Google product categories available, and they're structured in a hierarchy where you can go to more general categories and you can go to more refined categories, right? Here, business, home, securities. You can go through there and select something, but just don't get hung up on it, particularly not on the initial setup, because like I said, it's kind of like a quick and dirty, easy way to get across the Google product and the Google product categories, and you can refine that more later on. So for refining it, there's actually there's a couple of cool things. Well, actually, I would send you. Well, there is this is a good place. So there's the catalog builder here, catalog builder video that shows you detailed instructions on how to refine, how to segment the catalogs into different product types and how they get assigned. A lot of this Trackify actually does automatically for you, but there's a couple of manual steps, and this video in particular walks you through how to do that. Now, I'm an 80-20% guy, right? I'm an 80-20 rule person. So I'm always saying, do the things that get you started first and worry about the rest of the finesse and the refinements later on. And the way that I've tried to structure the setup processes in Trackify is following that rule, okay? So you can get started with just setting up these 4 simple items here, and then you can refine later on, and most of the refinement is actually not that important. And as long as you have the simple thing already set up, Trackify is building the assets in Facebook for you, gathering all the information in the Facebook pixels, transmitting them over to the Facebook catalog that we set up in the initial install, and everything will come together once you see things, working and moving together. So my goal here is that in the initial save, you're ready to start running your ads and you have nothing to worry about it, the setup or any refinement or anything to make it better later on. It can always be tweaked, but you have awesome data already being generated by Trackify immediately once you save the first setup. Okay. Now, let's go quickly into this cart mode thing here. So here's the thing. We are on this product page and we're going to hit this Buy It Now button. And that's what you want to do in your store. You want to observe what happens when you click the Buy It Now button. And there's a couple of things that can happen. Usually, something like this happens. There's some type of animation going on in your actual product page. So you're still on the product page here, right? We haven't navigated to a different page. But on this product page, we have now this sometimes called a drawbar or drawer, or something that informs me that I've just added something to the cart. And then on this drawbar, which is actually just like a cart page, but it happens as an overlay on top of your product page, you have an option here to check out. And when I click on that, I'll click on it in just a minute, it'll take me straight over to the checkout pages and go to checkout. Okay, so this is one typical characteristic way that cart action is configured in your theme. And we've referred to this as the Ajax cart mode. So if there is stuff going on like this, where there's animation, where there's something popping up that shows you the cart on the product page itself, then you want to set this setting in Trackify to Ajax cart. So select the cart mode, goes to Ajax cart. The other mode, which is the default mode is the regular cart mode. Now, I can't show you the regular cart mode in this particular store, but we can go over to another store that I know is configured in a way that it's using a regular cart. So in this store right here, I'm on a product page. Here's my Facebook Pixel events. Now, if I click the Buy It Now button, it comes over to a cart page. You can see here, this is actually changing over to a different page. It has in this URL /cart, and now I'm on the cart page. Now on the cart page, I can fire an add to cart event right here. Okay, don't worry about it. This is a confusing configuration. I didn't want you to see this, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. All right. Anyway, the add to cart event fires on the cart page, and that is the purpose of having the regular cart mode selected, which is also the default. So this is the thing that you want to go into your store and figure out if your store is using the cart page or if it's using the an animation to simulate the cart or facilitate the cart on the product page itself. So now that it's using this animation here to simulate the cart, I told you that needs to be set to Ajax cart mode, and that is actually the setting that we have in the store. Because I haven't saved this yet, so it was on Ajax. And that is also a reason why this add to cart event fired when I clicked this Buy It Now button. Okay, so you can see that the add to cart event was just added to the Facebook Pixel events that were already here in Facebook Pixel Helpers, and it was added as soon as I hit the Buy It Now button. And this animation here appeared, and then that's also when the add to cart event happened. All right. Now, when I click on this checkout, it is most likely that this will actually jump straight to the checkout.shopify pages, and as you can see, it does. And that is where the pixels that Trackify can produce end, because we cannot fire any content. No app can fire any content on these checkout.shopify.com pages. But it's not necessarily really, because anything beyond this here is just hopefully going to end in a Shopify in a purchase event. And so that's what's going to happen here next, right? So if I go through this, I get to my thing here, and this is now set to a trial transaction. So if I had remembered, there's something I don't remember what I don't remember what the point was here. Oops, I don't want that. That's not good. Let's do it like that. Let's put it like that, and let's see if it goes through. I don't think it'll go through. I don't remember what it does. Okay, awesome. So now we can hopefully see the actual purchase event. There it goes. Awesome. I didn't anticipate that would happen. That's awesome. I've never demonstrated that in a live webinar before. Okay, awesome. So here's a purchase event that's firing on the thank you page at the very end of the checkout.shopify.com chain of events. So you won't see any pixel events in the steps through the checkout. But when you reach the final checkout page right here, this is when your purchase event fires. And this is another question that I'm asked frequently. When you come back to this page, so let's come back, sometimes people access this thank you page again later on because Shopify actually mails this out as a way to check on your order status. You come back here. Oh, actually, I can't show it like this. Sorry. Okay, so let's close it here. We've seen enough of this over here now, and let's just go ahead and reopen it again. And you should actually not see another purchase event here, and that's exactly what happens. Okay, so that avoids overfiring of purchase events. It's automatically suppressed. Sometimes people ask about this because they hear about, it can happen that Shopify pixels fire again on the thank you page if someone goes to it to check their order status and stuff like that, and then it fires again and gives me double pixel fires and blah blah blah. And just this goes to show you that Trackify is already preventing that from happening. Okay. Okay, so we've already been on this webinar for an entire hour, and I've still not come around to showing you the tracking tag configuration. And I don't want to squeeze it into this webinar because this webinar is already very long, and I don't want to overload it. So I'll make another webinar. I'll make another live training webinar later on this week, and I'll invite you again to that. And I want to show you in that webinar how you can configure those tracking tags here. These tracking tags are designed primarily to combine groups of product that have a good fit with a specific segment of your target audiences in your Shopify store. But they can also be used for all kinds of nifty additional features. And I'll walk you through this in another training webinar. Okay, so let's go back here. I hope that you've had some glimpse of information on how Facebook is structuring their assets and their different components and how they work together. And I hope that you are now on board with the good common sense to use business managers for managing your ads. And that you will follow through on that and go and set up your business manager if you haven't already, and then claim your ad account and create additional ad accounts depending on what you want to do, how you want to structure things. Just look back here real quick if there are any questions here right now that are hot and burning that I can answer. Jason, I've set up my cart to Ajax and everything seemed working fine. However, watching this video, it seems it should be a regular cart. Should I try to change back? So what's the implication of doing this? There's not much of an implication, Jason. If the litmus test is if all of your transactions pass through the cart page and there is no way to skip the cart page, then you should use regular cart mode. There are some small benefits, not really any ramifications in terms of your data structure or anything like that, but there are some benefits in the reliability at which the add to cart events fire and the data that they include on the cart page and on the purchase page. So I would recommend using regular cart mode if all of your transactions have to pass through the cart page. If you have a combination where some passes of reaching the checkout page can skip the cart page and others can not, and they go through the cart page, then I would try to use Ajax. There are some implementations of Ajax on the theme that make it more difficult for us to actually fire the add to cart page. So when you use Ajax, you have to just check and see if the pixel fires get triggered, right? And all you need to do is very simple. You just go to your store, you go to a product, you look, and you see if the view content event is already there. Wonderful. So now watch. When you hit buy it now, it should trigger an add to cart event, and it does. So if that's the case, and let's say here, a lot of times these animations that pop up here have two buttons in this. One says checkout and the other one says view cart. I don't really think that's a useful implementation, and therefore this store doesn't have that. But if your store has that, then some of that will end up on the cart page, and some of it will bypass the cart page. In any case, if it's an Ajax mode, we don't fire an add to cart event on the cart page. So that concern of double fires is eliminated. But it's more concerning if you are in Ajax cart mode and there's some funny animation going on in your theme or through other apps in your product page that actually catches the pixel event and prevents it from being fired. So you want to just make sure that the add to cart event is actually fired and it's actually going off in Ajax cart mode. But if it is, then I would just leave it in Ajax, that's fine. Niche tags, that's an interesting question, Luis, for the next webinar. Is it better to create niche tags or product tags? Product tags don't need to be created. You don't need to have tags for individual products because you can also build everything that you might want to build because of the tags, you can also build that directly based on product IDs. So it is necessary that we do another webinar for this. Otherwise, we can go on here for hours and hours. So I'll make sure we answer that question in detail in the next call. But the primary answer is you don't need tags for products, at least not tracking tags for Trackify. You can just do that by product. So that was Jason's question. Vanessa, what should general stores in the category? Already answered that, seems like. Okay, I can explain a little bit more about the different cart modes. Oh yeah, the upgrade to platinum. That is clearly something we have to figure out. Louis, since you're still on the call, you can upgrade later. There are very specific applications for the platinum mode, and in the beginning you might not want to even use them. So you don't need to upgrade right away. It doesn't matter. Okay, let's see what else is here. I heard that Facebook doesn't like other URL link shorteners as Bitly and so forth, so likelihood for our ads being disapproved or not optimized well would be affected due to this. If you use such URL shorteners, exception, of course, if we use Google URL shortener, more legit or not used by most. That's a bit of a general question, Louis. The short answer on that is, as a URL shortener, you should use our special Shopify app for this. You shouldn't use any of this Google or Bitly stuff. It has huge disadvantages that I don't want to explain right now in detail. But we have another app. It's called Retarget Links app. You can get it in Shopify. It's listed as a beta app in Shopify right now, which just means it has a little bit of a scary. Let me see where it is. Retarget links. This is the Shopify link. So this is store. So it has this kind of warning here, but it doesn't matter. We support the app. It's working awesomely. It creates a short URL that you can use our own shortening domain, which is Retarget it, but it's spelled in consonants only. It looks like this. Retarget.it, like that. That's one of our short URLs, right? So this here is a short URL in use. It lands right there on this product, and it uses our URL shortener, but you can also use your own short domain to mask your shorteners and make them even more specific. But the cool thing about this URL shortener is it's not just shortening URLs, it is also tagging all the URLs, all the links, all the traffic that goes to these short URLs. It's tagging the traffic with UTM tags for Google Analytics, and that's an awesome way to make all of your organic traffic that's coming from Facebook visible in Google Analytics. And then we show you the very simple system of tagging all of your ads in Facebook with individual, customized, systematized UTM tags. So that way you can see all the organic traffic that's coming from your links and all the paid traffic, and they're all separated in Google Analytics. So it's an awesome tool. I would strongly recommend it. I'm going to put the link into the chat. How do I put it in the chat? Here you go. So that's the link to our Retarget Links app. Okay, there's a free trial there too. It's an awesome app. It's a no-brainer. Use it. You get much better results in your Google Analytics tracking. You know much more about where your sales are coming from. Okay, awesome. So let's go back here and let's go back to your questions. I think I've expired all of the questions here. I've answered everything. Vanessa, is there a summary in Trackify of all the add to carts to follow up on the number of abandoned carts? Verify what the abandoned cart has found. Well, yeah, I mean, there's this thing here. I don't think there is anything in here, but there's in the orders. You can see abandoned checkouts. Is that what you're asking? I'm not quite sure if I understand the question correctly. You can go in here and see all your abandoned checkouts here, if that's your question. I don't know. All right. Well, it looks like there's no actual. Asmir, I missed you. I don't know that I missed you. I don't have you in the question column. You double check here if I missed you. any other way. Solved. Must pay session mode. Ask me, I don't see any question. I don't know that I missed you. I don't know what you mean. Okay, anyway, that's all, guys. That's all for this webinar. Thanks a lot for watching. I will be able to send the double check what Trackify counts as abandoned. No, that's not for Trackify to count this. Trackify sends the events to Facebook, and you can create abandoned counts by intersecting audiences in Facebook, right? When you take an audience that is all the people that have added to cart, and then you create an audience that has all the people that purchased. And when you take away the purchase audience from the add to cart audience, you should then, in theory, get the abandoned cart audience. That's how that works. Okay, ask me. I don't see your question, really, but I now see it. I would like to ask a question about retargeting. Running a store for about 1.5 months and have about 300 sales. Website visitors about 10,000. However, my retargeting apps perform very poorly. Give me a quick tip on what could be wrong. There could be all kinds of things wrong. The most important big thing that could be wrong is something inside Facebook. Facebook has made changes recently that have messed up some of the things that have to do with the catalog feed builders, and that can in turn have messed something up in your retargeting ads. They have actually completely restructured the way that retargeting ads, the DPA structure, works inside of Facebook. So if you have an older installation that hasn't been redone with the new system on Facebook, then it could be just because of that. So the easiest thing that I would suggest you do is at this point is just throw them out, delete them, or just pause them and set up new retargeting ads from scratch. Follow the DPA video in the Trackify training videos, and you should be fine. And it should be starting to work really well. So that's my answer for that. Okay, so awesome. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being on the webinar. I will be sending out replays for this, and hopefully this will help you work Trackify and get the best and biggest buck for your buck out of Trackify. Anytime you have any questions, check the support area in your Trackify admin. If you haven't already, make sure you join the Facebook users group for Trackify users. The link to that is here. Just request to be added. I'll approve you. And if you have any special questions, we also have this in-app chat feature now that you can use here in Trackify directly. I think that our response time to that is extremely good, extremely fast. So make sure you come on there and chat with us, and we'll help you out, and we'll get you straightened out if you have any questions at all. So thank you very much for this webinar, for being on, and I'll talk to you very soon. I'll end the call for now, and I'll see you on the app. I'll see you in Trackify. I'll see you in the Facebook group, and I'll see you maybe at one of our events. Thanks a lot. This is Thomas, and I'm signing off. Bye-bye.